I've devoted part of my morning meditation to connecting with Source. Once I get into a deep enough place in my meditation, I ask God, what is it that you'd like me to hear today? And then I sit and I wait for the answer. And some of the answers that I've been receiving are really profound. A couple of days ago, I received a very interesting answer, and that's what I'd really like to talk about in this video today. Dissecting truth. The farther down the rabbit hole we go in terms of seeking truth, the more we become aware of the fact that there really is no understanding the truth with your mind. There is no thinking your way to understanding these deep spiritual truths. And this doesn't always feel very intuitive, but in fact, it's our intuition that allows us to fully assimilate and understand these deeper truths. Typically, what I find that we do as humans is we want to dissect the truth. We want to cut it up and chop it into millions of pieces. And then we want to examine each one of those little pieces and then hope that we can put those pieces back together again to get the full picture. But unfortunately, that's really not the way that we understand truth. If you're reading a beautiful spiritual scripture by a master, one of the best ways to actually take in that information and understand it is to be with it and sit with it, have your eyes closed, focus your attention here at the third eye, and try to assimilate that information without thinking. Really just see it in your mind's eye, let your intuition take over so that you can deeply understand what those words are pointing to. Zen. There are lots of things that I love about Zen. What I really love is how simple it is, how simple the approach is. And the approach is really to not take a stance on anything. It's this beautiful middle way. And I really feel that the point of Zen is to shatter the mind, is to completely get out of this mode of thinking to understand things. It's like a Zen koan, which is like a riddle. A classic example of this would be, what is the sound of one hand clapping? When you really try to think about this, you become very frustrated because you can't think your way into understanding that because it doesn't make any sense. It's an absolute paradox. You can't clap with one hand. It provokes you in a way so as to bypass your logic and your reasoning and analytical abilities so that you get out of this mode of thinking, so that you can go beyond thinking. And much like yoga, Zen is trying to allow you to become fully absorbed in existence by shattering the mind with these incredible techniques and approaches that they use to go beyond thinking. I really think Zen points to understanding the essence of something. I always think of the essence of something as the fragrance of something. What is the fragrance of truth? What is the fragrance of God? What is the fragrance of understanding something? And again, words really fall short typically, but I think poets do this very well. That's why I think poetry is so invaluable because it does just that. It takes the essence of something. It takes that fragrance and using such few words is able to convey this beautiful understanding of what is the infinite womb. I'm going to attempt to talk about what it is that I learned in my most recent meditation when I was talking to God and try to distill it to the essence of its meaning. And what I heard the other day was a little bit like a Zen koan. And there were two parts to this koan. So the first part was, there is only you. And then after a couple seconds, the next thing I heard was, but there is no you or me. And then, of course, this absolutely made no sense to me. So I asked in my mind, did I hear that correctly? And then I heard, yes, you heard it perfectly well. So now that I knew that I had heard this perfectly well, I knew that I needed to sit with this because this is what I've been doing with whatever it is that I've been receiving. I've been sitting with that particular message throughout the entire day. And then the next day I ask again, what is it that you want me to hear? And then it will tell me something different. And then I'll sit with that for the entirety of the day. So I did just that. I sat with this very paradoxical phrase, there is only you and there is no you or me. I really tried to let go of thinking my way into understanding this. And I just sat with it throughout the day at different points. And I tried to contemplate the essence of what that meant. And the thing that I realized about this that was so fascinating was that the first part of this sentence really sets you up to understand how to feel connected to all that is. Because when you think that all of existence is you, then it's easier to feel connected to all that is. It's sort of like what we do with God. I think it's easier for people to think of God or source or creator or consciousness in some sort of form. Another way that I understood the essence of there is only you was that everything that I experience is happening because of my awareness of it. In other words, everything that I see and everything that I do and experience and take in or put out, it's happening within that awareness. That is what I am. The thing that we need to understand is that all of existence is connected. There's nothing that we're separate from. Nothing. When you're fully present, when you're really sitting in the seat of true self, you really lose a sense of time, even a sense of space and proximity to everything. And you really do feel in some strange way that there is no separation between you and anything else. Babies have this. Babies really don't have a sense of them and you. They really have this sense that everything is them. And I have these very old memories of feeling that way as a child. There was no sense that I was an I and they are a them. We learn that from adults. We learn that from other people who think that they're a somebody. They think that they're an I. And so we're taught that, we're conditioned at a very young age to learn that we are separate. The second part of this koan was there is no you or me. And this completely destroys what the ego would have you think, which is, I am God, I am everything, right? And so it destroys that completely because that's the danger in thinking that there is only you. And even though we are part of all that is, again, we are a part of it, not to say that we're separate from it, but we are not it in its entirety. What I really think the essence of the meaning of this is that there really isn't a self. The idea of self is just that. It's just an idea. There is no you, there is no me. Once it took me down this path of connect to everything because you are everything. But remember, you and me don't exist. But we also have to hold life lightly. We can remember that there's this beautiful middle path. There's a path of remembering that we get to show up fully and be present and experience this dream. We can also question the validity and the reality of some of these things that we've been told as children, which is you are a separate self. You are separate from everything. There's something very natural about finding that balance of not taking either extreme, of being able to look and see the broader picture of there is only you and there is no you or me. How does one feel into the understanding of that using a more intuitive approach? And also, how does one let go of trying to hold on to thinking that they know what the truth is? I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this koan of there is only you and there is no you or me. I'd love to know what it means to you, and maybe you can sit with it for a while, contemplate, and try to intuitively understand the essence of what it means. I love you all so much. Until next time, remember to let go. Let go of trying to be anything other than the truth of what you are.